Om Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Graseka Karmane. We left it yesterday. Vidyaranya Swamiji was talking about vichar. And in our path, vichar is the only thing. We don't have Surya Namaskar and yoga and twisting your body in different directions and all that. We don't do it. In this class, I mean. No, we do vichar. That is our work. So in number 5, we saw where he said, our bondage is perpetuated by absence of vichar. The human being remains bound because he doesn't do vichar. We'll chant that number 5 again. Avichara krito bandhaha vicharena nivartate tasmad jiva paratmano sarvadeva vicharet. The vichar also, you'll see from the verse, is not to be just I am thinking, reflecting about all sorts of things, means useless things, superfluous things that will bring no benefit to me. But that's what people do. They think about you wouldn't believe all sorts of crazy things people go on thinking and come up. Not wouldn't believe, you will know. People. So he says, what the vichar is directed specifically in the scriptures. What? Tasmat jiva paratmano. The vichar is supposed to be done between jiva and Brahma. And that is what we were doing in the previous chapter. The vichar is only about jiva, Brahma. Nothing else. We are not talking about all other type of doing vichar and how the stock market works. When we do those type of things, but we have to understand that that is not the purpose of life. That is just to make a living. We have to do vichar on whatever you are studying in your school and your colleges and universities and all that. But that is only to make a living. Vichar here is to fulfill the purpose of life. To know or to do vichar between jiva and Brahma. And to see how both are one, and that type of vichar. Now, Vidyaranya Swamiji himself will now direct the vichar, proper thinking. In this vichar, in this matter of vichar, there can be, there are two things which we have to study. One is, what to do vichar on. And after we have ascertained what to do vichar on, second thing is now, write vichar on that thing. Because look here, suppose we say that there is an aikyam between jiva and Brahma. Suppose we make the claim, the scriptures tell about the aikyam. Jiva Brahma aikya bodhaka vakya is mahavakya. Right? So, the scriptures says there is a oneness between the two of them. Now you cannot now come up with your own theory of oneness, you know. The scripture tells there is a oneness between the two of them, and the scripture also shows how there is a oneness between the two of them. So your vichar has to be done along the lines of the scriptures. So first of all, what to do vichar, and then how. Not you come up with your own, and there are many people, and then they pride themselves, I am self-taught. Where did you learn all your Gyan? I am self-taught. Self-taught has never got anybody anywhere. He gets caught up in a quagmire of his own. thoughts and all that sort of thing. And it is quite easy for that person to just get into the wrong vichar, means wrong thinking. So, the two things, what and how. Now, Bhagavan Vidyaranya Swamiji will do that for us, slowly now. The vichar will be set out, how we are supposed to think. Remember, the topic always will be Jiva Brahma Aikya, the oneness between Jiva and Brahma. Now see this. He starts from the beginning. That's the best place to start. Amityabhimantayaha kartasau tasya sadhanam manastasya kriye antar bahirvritti kramothite. He says, Aham iti abhimanta yaha. He who considers himself as I. Remember, I say I. That is a saying or not? When we say or when we assume, even in my mind when I think, I see you. I speak with you. That I, actually, that is the first assumption of an individuality. That I is called as karta. He said, Ahamiti manta yaha karta aso. This one who says I, he is the karta, he is the agent, he is the doer. We'll come back to this just now. Tasya sadhanam manaha. His instrument is the mind. The one who says I, who is actually saying I? The ego is saying I. And his instrument, well, of course, his instrument is all of. The ego is saying I, and this is his instrument, body, mind, and intellect. Because the one who says I inside, he uses his intellect, he uses his mind, he uses his body to do whatever he does. So he's called the agent, he's called the karta, or the doer, and his instrument is the mind, referring to all the body, mind, intellect here. Then tasya kriye antaha bahihi vritti kramothita. He engages in two types of activities. One activity is called as external and the other activity is called as internal. One internal, one external, if you want to say that, because the words are given like that, antar bahir. He engages in two types of activities. In succession. Kramothita, why he gives in succession? Well, an external activity necessarily must be preceded by an internal activity. Without the internal activity, there cannot be any external. Means to say, without first thinking that I am an individual, which is the internal activity, he cannot do any external activity. That is the idea. That is by kramothita. Kramothite. Now, we'll go back to all the terminologies. Ahamiti abhimantayaha karta. The one who thinks himself to be an individual, who says I first. I see, I talk, I like, I don't like, I eat, I laugh, I run, whatever I. He inside, he is called as the karta, he is called as the agent or the doer. Now I'll tell you, you go back. I told you on one of the previous days, you may not remember, but I'll remind you. What is that? I told you that I has what is called as an idam amsha and an anidam amsha. But Padmapada was one of the great disciples of Bhagavan Shankaracharya, direct disciple. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavan's commentary on Brahma Sutra Bhashya. So there he makes this distinction. What? Any eye, when I say eye, that eye has two components or two aspects. That is called as the idam amsha and anidam amsha. Idam amsha is what is called as the empirical eye, the transactional eye, vyavaharik eye, the eye who engages in all transactions and action, duties and all that kind of thing. So that eye is there, and then the anidam eye or the anidam amsha is sakshi, witness. It is not the objectified eye. The idam amsha is objectified eye. So here, in other words, there is I who identifies as an individual. That is one eye. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi calls that the little eye. So when we are saying Upadeshtar, for instance, or Saddarshana, we talk about little eye or big eye. You have to be careful how you use big eye in Trinidad. In Trinidad, big eye means something else. You have to explain that. Well, you don't have to explain it. When I go abroad, I have to explain. Big eye. Or when foreigners come here. So anyway, the sakshi or the witness is called as the anidam amsha component of I, and the idam component is what is called as the objectified or empirical I. This is the I which we usually know. For example, when you say that fellow is egoistic, let us say, this egoistic, we are speaking about the idam amsha of I. That I, easy way to distinguish it too. If you are talking about idam amsha and anidam amsha, one is the anidam amsha, you can say aham, and the idam amsha ahamkar. That is the easy way to tell. One is aham and the other is ahamkar. Now, how the aham, he doesn't do anything. Kar comes from krik, to do. But the ahamkar, he does. He says, I. He says, I am great. I am this. I am that. I did this. I did that. I want this. I want to do that. Like so, he goes on saying. So he does something. Like ahamkar, the individual I. And aham is the anidam amsha, the sakshi. He just witnesses. He does nothing. Does nothing means does nothing in the sense of the fuel in the car doing nothing. Doing nothing means what? The fuel doesn't tell the car today you have to go south. Does nothing in that sense. But without fuel, of course, no car could go. Last night I was explaining this there. From the one point of view, it does nothing means if the car ended up in an accident, you cannot say that the fuel made it end up in an accident. The fuel is not responsible, but the fuel is responsible. See? What an amazing position that fuel is in. Sakshi is in the same position. So without the Sakshi, nothing will happen. But the Sakshi now, or Sakshi Chaitanya reflected in the Antakarana becomes Chidabhasa and Jiva. That's the individual I is born there. And that individual I is really the one who is doing. Like the driver of the car. He really is the one who is responsible for making the accident. You know, you only meet your insurance company accidentally. You meet your insurance company by accident. Anyway, so he said that. So this is what is Aham iti abhimanta yaha karta. He is called as the karta, the one who considers himself to be a doer. That is the individual ego, empirical I, idam amsha, objectified I. So many names are there for that. Tasya sadhanam. His instrument now is the antakarana. Body is also included. He uses body also. Because when that fellow feels to drink a Pepsi, when that individual I feels to drink a Pepsi, then what? He needs you cannot just sit here with mind alone. The individual I, right, sitting here. There is a Pepsi in the fridge. And just like how these Hindu people teach us to do Shiva Manasa Puja, I will do Pepsi Drinkam Puja. Manasa Pepsi, what do you call it? Manasa Drinkam. It will not happen. You can't just sit here and drink a Pepsi by your mind. So when the I has that desire comes through the mind and all to the I, he needs the body. So he gets up and goes there by the refrigerator. And if somebody had gone before him, then the emotion comes there and he shouts to the whole household, who touched my Pepsi? See, anyway, so manaha, when he says tasya sadhanam manaha, his instruments which he utilizes is in mana. It includes the whole what called upadhi. He uses the whole upadhi to achieve whatever he does. Tasya kriye, but now his activities are divided into two. One is he engages in internal activities and he engages in external activities. But there is no need for us to think too much about internal activity and external activities. External activity is there. Swamiji himself now in the next verse will tell us what is this internal and external. He engages with two things, internal and external. Now see this in number 7. Antarmukha hamityesha Vrittikarta ramullikhet Bahir mukhedamityesha Bahyam vastvidamullikhet Antarmukha ahamiti esha vrittihi. Now see, it means that the antakarana is engaged, or the antakarana has two types of vritti. One is called an internal modification and one is called an external modification. Now see, vritti word is coming again. I told you previously, this vritti word, you have to, please don't pass over all the words just like that and you just study. Vritti means a mental modification. In English, if you have to translate that, vritti is a mental modification. So, and the example, you always remember that whatever, you can change your object, but the mind goes out and takes the form of the watch or the object, right? So that mind has now modified into the form of the watch, or modified into the form of the object, the bahya vishaya, or the external object. So when the mind has modified into that form, that is one stage called as vritti vyapti. Then after that, the mind has to now, that object has to be revealed to that mind. That is called as phala vyapti. So first vritti vyapti, the mind goes out and takes the form of that object. So that is called as a mental modification. That is called as a mental modification. Vritti, it takes that form, and of course the form is revealed to the mind by phala, by the underlying chit, underlying consciousness, right? So now, that vritti word is a mental modification. So now he says, Antarmukha ahamiti esha vrittihi kartaram ullikhet. Ullikhet is denoted by, is indicated. The internal thought of the antakarana takes the form of I. Antarmukha ahamiti esha vrittihi. So just now we said that I is involved in two types of activity. One is internal and one is external. His internal activity is to form an image of himself. That is called I. Means, and everybody have an internal image of themselves. I am this, I am that, I am the other thing. We don't share it too often. But everybody have done it. I am like this and all that. And then bahir mukha iti aham iti bahir mukha idam iti esha bahyam vastu idam ullikhet. And it also engages now in a idam vritti. So there is an aham vritti and there is an idam vritti. So there are two vrittis in that antakarana. One is I, and the other is the other things. This aham and idam. There's I and this. I mean, this what now? Everything except I. Like for example, I am miserable. So there is the misery and there is the one who is miserable. So even the misery is an idam. It is a this. It is an objectified thing. Even the misery is an objectified thing. So I am happy, I am miserable, I am joyous, or I am doubtful. I am doubtful. So that doubt also. And then everything after that. I am miserable because today it rained. So the rain also, you know. So everything other than the I is idam. And the I is called as aham. So this is the distinction he makes there. There are two vrittis. One is an aham vritti and the other is an idam vritti. And interestingly, you know, the aham vritti is always one. The idam vritti is many. Second thing is, the idam vritti cannot exist without the aham vritti. You think about that also. It means any object which is there, if I say this object is, let us say I make this statement, this object exists, right? In that statement, you see, I did not use the word I, correct? This object exists. But really, one sentence is missing in that. The sentence is, or the phrase, one phrase is missing. I know this object exists. That I know is missing. Because the sentence says, this object exists. Where would that sentence originate if there was not a person saying it or a person knowing it? That sentence would have no point from which to originate. So that sentence is understood. That I know this exists, this object exists. That sentence is unspoken. It is understood. I know this object exists. So that I know part is called as aham, and the object part is called as idam. These two things always go together. And the aham is always one. So I know, and then I know this object exists. I know this object belongs to such and such person. I know this object is yellow. I know this object is called a watch. I know this object tells time. And that thing, the idam part goes on changing. The idam part is infinite. And the aham, that never changes. That is the same one, aham only. So about idam and aham, one remains constant, the other one goes on changing. One of them, aham, is only one in number. Idam is, means as far, so far I am concerned, not insofar as you will have your own aham. This aham will say this is yellow. Your aham will say, because if you have some defect in your seeing color, because some people have defect in seeing color. So if you have some defect, you may say, what yellow? That thing is not yellow. And then an argument will start. Anyway, so the aham remains one, idam goes on changing. That much about aham and idam. Then what the verse is saying, aham is internal, idam is external. So now you can see what there is indication by the word aham. What he really means by internal is, it is me. Aham is me actually. You can't get more internal than that. Now he continues this aham and idam. In this verse now he will talk about the idam. What is the idam? And then in the next verse he will talk about aham in relation to aham, in relation to idam. See now. Idamo ye visheshasyuhu gandharuparasadayah asankaryena tan bhindyat Ghranadindriya panchakam. Idamaha means all the objectified things now. Ye visheshaha syuhu gandha rupa rasadayaha. Now we say for idam, anything which is this, it will be made up or it will contain these five. What? Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Everything in the world. See this thing. Shabda, it has, shabda means sound. It has sound. You knock it, some sound will be there. Can hear some sound, na? Shabda. Sparsha, you can touch it. Means these are the five sense objects. There are five sense organs, jnana indriyas, but they correlate to five sense object. The first one I call as shabda, sound. Sparsha, touch, smooth, well, some parts of it. Some parts rough. Sparsha. Rupa. Rupa means form and color. Form and color. Rasa, taste. You can taste it if you want. It will taste. It will taste plasticky. It is made of a plastic. And gandha. Gandha means smell. You can also smell it if you want. They smell like plastic. So it says rupa, gandha, rupa, rasadaya is only three of them, and adaya is given. Adi means, adaya is plural of adi. Adi means etc. So all five are referred to. The five sense objects. So this is idam. Idam is being described now. This. Now we have five sense organs that perceive the five of them. Asankaryena tan bhindyat. Ghranadindriya panchakam. Five means nose, Skin for touching, nose for smelling, eyes for seeing, ears for hearing, and tongue for tasting. We have 5 sense organs, and the 5 sense organs perceive each one of them perceive one of these 5 sense objects. But you know that, I don't have to go through all of that. But what you have to remember now, see, and the word which is asankaryena tan bhindyat. Each sense organ perceives one sense object and keeps that thing separate and distinct and presents it to the mind. It is the mind that makes the composite picture. So when the mind perceives, eventually the mind is going to perceive. The mind perceives a watch in general. The mind perceives the watch in general. Each 5 sense organ will differentiate the 5 aspects of the watch. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Asankaryena means that the senses are able to keep them separate without mixing them up. Sankara means to mix up. Varna Sankara Karakaihi. You'll see in first chapter of Gita. The mix up of the caste. Mix up of the caste among people. Sankara. Asankaryena means without mixing up. In other words, your ears will never be able to see colors. Your mind might be able to see stars, but your ears will never be able to see colors. Or you can never taste the sound of music. Even though people say you have a good taste in music. But you can't taste the sound of music or see the music. And sometimes you feel you can see, because some people play the music so loudly. Yeah. So it means each one will distinctly, very clearly perceive only one sense object, and they keep them separate. They don't get mixed up at all. It's very difficult to mix them up. You cannot see the taste of the food. You can only taste the taste of the food, isn't it? You can't see it. But no matter how well it looks, you will not be able to tell if it tastes good or not. It may look nice, but tasting is a different thing. So that's the meaning of asankaryena tan bhindyat. Distinctly and very clearly, all of the sense objects are known by these 5 senses. Now see, he is directing how we are supposed to be thinking. What exactly is this vichar which has to be done, and this is what I told you. Now, in number 9, he speaks about the idam, the aham. What exactly is the other aham? And we studied that aham briefly just now. He himself will tell. See this. Kartaram chakriyam tadvat vyavritta vishayanapi sphorayedekayatyena dekayatnena sphorayedekyatnena yosau sakshyatra chidvapuhu. The anvaya will be like that. Chidvapuhu sporayet. Chidvapuhu sporayet. That consciousness reveals or illumines. Chidvapuhu sporayet. Consciousness reveals or illumines. What the consciousness reveal or illumine in the second case we call kartaram, kriyam, vishayan. All of them in second case. They those of you who learn a little bit of Sanskrit, you will know what we are talking about. There is a subject, there is an object, and there is a verb. So the object is three objects here: kartaram, kriyam, and vishayan. They are illumined or revealed by what? Consciousness is in first case. Chidvapuhu, like guruhu, chidvapuhu, sporayet, is illumined by consciousness. When the objects are illumined by consciousness. So now to go back and to keep it our what we are discussing. We are discussing there is idam vritti and there is aham vritti. So kartaram cha kriyam tadvat vyavritta vishayan api spurayet ekayatnena saha asau sakshi. That consciousness which illumines simultaneously ekayatnena, at one time illumines the three. Who? The karta, which is the individual ego, which we saw in the beginning. That consciousness which illumines the karta, which is called as the idam amsha of I, idam amsha of I. There's the terminologies can get mixed up and you have to be very careful. That consciousness which illumines the karta, the doer, the one who feels he is a doer, which illumines his actions, because he is engaged in actions and he knows all the time, I am doing this action, and that consciousness which illumines also the objects upon which he is acting. Say I am moving this. So I am moving, that is the action. It's called kriyam. And this is the object which is being moved. It's called vishayan. And then who is moving? I am moving. I say, I am moving it. So all three are illumined, revealed by what is called here sakshi. And sakshi is nothing but chit vapuhu, means the supreme consciousness. This is the verse. This is summary of the verse. So the sakshi is, see what actually Swamiji has done there, right? He has jumped from what just now we described as the idam vritti and aham vritti, and he has jumped to sakshi. Even the aham vritti is illumined by sakshi. That is the idea, which is chidvapu, which is pure consciousness. So the aham vritti, which is the individual I, and I do this, I do that, I am of this type, I am this, I am the person who goes on saying I all the time. Even that is illumined by sakshi, who is a non-doer. Sakshi doesn't say I do this, I do. Sakshi's nature is just to illumine, like the sun's nature is just to illumine. The Guruji puts a very nice note there. The sun doesn't give light, the sun is light. If you say the sun gives light, a person is prone to think, will be prone to thinking then that there is a sun and then he gives light. But other than light, there is something called sun. Other than light, there is nothing called sun. You see? So the sakshi is by nature illumination. It is in the light of sakshi, aham knows that he is doing some action on some object. It is in the light of sakshi that the aham knows, through aham possesses an intellect. Aham possesses an intellect. So aham knows through that intellect, I am acting. He knows the action and he knows the object on which he is also acting, unless he is sleeping and sleepwalking. And it does this, and the word which is given there is very nice. Ekayatnena. Sahasau sakshi atra chidvahu. Ekayatnena means simultaneously, in one go. Sakshi illumines the empirical eye. Sakshi which is called karta here, illumines the empirical eye, who is called as karta. Sakshi illumines the activity which he is engaged in, and Sakshi illumines also the objects of the world, or the objects on which he is acting. All three of them are illumined by Sakshi simultaneously at one and the same time. It is not that, see, this type of possibility cannot happen. What? Sakshi illumines I, the individual empirical I, right? So then I say, I am. Then I engage in an action. The one who says I am, I engage in an action, and while I am engaging in the action, I don't know, but tomorrow I know. And in other words, there's I, right? I lifted this ruler, but I don't know. So tomorrow I come to know now, I lifted, and the next day I come to know ruler. That ever happens? Not possible also. I am illumined today, lifting is illumined tomorrow, and ruler is illumined next day, parso. The I and the lifting and the ruler, which is lifted, the object, they are three of them illumined at one and the same time. That is ekayatnena, in one go, all three. If that were to happen, we would have had some real trouble in life, you know. So I would have lifted, and then I have to wait till the next day to know what. I would have lifted something today and wait till tomorrow to find out what I lifted. You will be able to do anything? Would you be able to perform any action? See, suppose I have a desire to lift this, right? But I can only know I, and I can only know lifting. So I lift. I have a desire to lift. So I lift, but I will not know whether I lifted the thing which I had a desire to lift. So any action will be possible? No, all three have to be there at one and same time, simultaneously. So kartaram is, so if you have to study all of the words, kartaram is the individual I, just now who we called as idam amsha of I. We also called him the objectified I. We also called him the empirical I. We also call him ahankar. How many names we called him? He is called as karta. Kartaram, second case. Karta is first case. That is the subjective case, or what you call as the nominative case. Kartaram is called the objective case, accusative case. So he is the individual I. Kriyam, the activity. Then tadvat, in the very same way, vyavritta vishayan api. The sakshi, vyavritta word is important also. Sakshi, or consciousness, reflecting in the antakarana, means manachitta buddhi ahankar, goes out and envelopes the objects. So in other words, what is happening here is sakshi is enveloping the individual I, which is ego, empirical I. Sakshi is enveloping the activity, and sakshi is enveloping the object outside. But not as sakshi, but as modification of the anta karana. When the Sakshi reflects in the Antakarana, Sakshi Chaitanya reflects in the Antakarana, it goes out, the Antakarana goes out now and envelopes that thing. Means what? It takes the vritti of that thing. It takes the form of that thing. So, the Antakarana is now taking the form of the individual I. The Antakarana is taking the form of the activity, and the Antakarana is taking the form of the object upon which the action is done. And the underlying conscious principle which is there in that act reveals to the individual whatever is going on. So when I lift this, I never say you are lifting it. I say I am lifting. So it reveals to itself also that I am doing an action. You see? It reveals to that individual. And what is that revelation? Illumination is the function of the underlying chit or consciousness. The going out also is only afforded by consciousness. That's why last night we were saying that Maya Dhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam. Bhagavan said, I am just the Adhyaksha, the witness. In my presence, the thing gets done. So the presence of consciousness or Sakshi Chaitanya in the Antakarana, that presence alone makes the Antakarana go out and envelop the object, go out and take the form of the object. Just the presence and nothing else is required. Otherwise Sakshi will now become doer. But this whole thing started today by saying, so the gas will become responsible for the accident. You see? So we cannot admit that. The Sakshi is just in whose presence everything gets done. So, and now sporayet means reveals. This revealing is, you have to understand that. See, again you have to use all of the examples and go over them, right? The object is there. You can see the object. Yes. Okay. So you can see the presence of the object. Can we? You can see the presence of the object. Oh. Now we can see the absence of the object. Still we are seeing. You can see the absence of the object. Now, even where the object was sitting, it's adhishthan, right? There is the adhishthan of the object. So we can see the object absent now. Adhishthan also goes. And in all of that, nobody pays attention to this light in the presence of which the object, the presence of the object, the absence of the object, and the adhishthan of the object. Nobody was paying attention to this light in the presence of which all of them were seen. Correct? But after all of them have gone, this light is still here or not? And in the presence of the light, now we see nothing because object is gone, adhishthan is gone, everything is gone. Now we see nothing. But light is still there. But that light we don't pay attention to. That is the light which was revealing the adhishthan, and which was revealing the object or the absence of the object thereof. It is in that light all things were revealed. That is the role of Sakshi Chaitanya. To reveal whatever is assumed by the individual ego, whatever action he is engaged in, or whatever object he is acting upon. The role of a Sakshi Chaitanya is to reveal. That is porayet, to illumine or reveal whatever is going on. So that is what he does. The role of the gas in the car is to provide momentum for the car. But which direction the car will go, what it will do and all that. The gas doesn't determine all of that. What speed. Whether you'll get a ticket today or not. No, officer, is the gas or cause that speed? Give me the ticket. You can't tell. Give the gas the ticket. Open the tank and put the ticket in there. Gas is not responsible. So Sakshi is not responsible for anything which is going on in that way, but without Sakshi also nothing happens. You see? So that Sakshi is just revealing all things, and also two things it is doing: revealing and in the presence of which all things are happening. That is what we were seeing last night also. Adhyakshena is Adhyaksha. Udasina what? Two words were used in Gita in 9th chapter. Udasina what means an uninvolved observer. Like an uninvolved observer. Udasi. Utasina means sitting aloof. But if he's not sitting, you know, like when the boss is there, he's not doing, but because his presence is, everybody is working, you know. When the boss is there in the company, in the office, everybody is working. When the boss is not there, coffee break. You see? So, the boss's presence makes everything get done. So, that's actually doing two things. Revealing things, and in the presence of whom things get done. Because the presence of the Sakshi is there, the Antakarana goes out to envelope an object. That is something which is being done. But when it envelopes the object, which takes the vritti of the object, at the same time, the Sakshi also reveals to that person what that object is. Otherwise, you will not know. And you can see that in ordinary life also. There is a process of perception and revelation. In ordinary life, you have experienced that? See, have you seen these some shows on television? You'll see they'll blindfold you and they'll make you hold something. So there's perception, but there's no revelation. Correct or not? So there is a distinction between the two, or a process between the two that happens. So the one is the perception, this the Antakarana goes out, but the revelation to me, this is a so and so, this is a that, or whatever. That happens second. Otherwise, in that also you can get, you may not know, you have to go on feeling for a long time what it is. And though some of those things are very funny also. They make them whole a spider. When it is revealed to him, then the fireworks starts. When it is revealed, then the perception is okay. The revelation that causes the fireworks. Alright, so he is now talking about here, he jumped from the, because if initially he started out with the idam and aham, but there the aham was the empirical aham. Here, briefly mentioning the empirical aham, he jumps to the absolute aham, which is called as Sakshi. Right. Now just now I introduced to you that the watch, the absence of the watch, the adhisthana of the watch, the support of the watch, and everything was illumined by this light. Finally now he comes to that light, same light I just spoke to you about, and he uses the metaphor of the lamp in the king's court, where the drama and dance and natak and everything is going on. That light is going to be now used as a metaphor for the light of consciousness. And it is in that light that the dancers see to where to come. The dancers come into the hall because there is a light there. The dancers dance, they know where to dance, which side to go and everything because there is a light there. And the king sees also the dance only because of that light. So they all come in the light, they see and enjoy and everything, experience everything in the light, and they go home, and the light is still there. The light is still there. All the activities take place only in that light, and the light is still there at the end, unchanged. That is called as Nataka Deep. That is the chapter's name. Nataka Deep, the deep that is facilitating the Natak. Natak means the drama, dance drama or whatever it is, right? That Nataka Deep we'll see tomorrow. All right. Nirvana.